There is an operating system driving the modern high performer. It's built on the belief that a day only counts if you get ahead of everyone. 6 a.m. in the gym, cycling to the office, and joining the 5 a.m. club to secure a lead. This software treats every interaction as a zero-sum game. Whether it's a boardroom negotiation or a personal conversation, winning is defined by dominating the space and annihilating any obstacle that stands in the way of what you want. But the energy required to drive those results isn't free. As physical and intellectual output rise, they drain your emotional capacity at quadruple the expense. You can find more capacity, but you're borrowing it from a reserve that is already nearing empty. When that reserve hits zero, the gauge shatters. The result is emotional dysregulation, a state where you no longer have the capacity to manage your own reactions. In this state, the winner begins to lose control. It looks like financial chaos, spending guilt money to fix mistakes, and relying on destructive habits like severe alcohol abuse to numb the noise of the burnout. When the standard definition of success guarantees self-destruction, the only way to survive is to reprogram your foundational instincts before you lose everything. Daily triggers provide the true test for a depleted mind. Mundane conflicts, like an infuriating email from a school teacher or a petty dispute with an ex-spouse, suddenly feel like high-stakes battles. Our primal brain, or the chimp, interprets these minor frictions as existential threats. It demands an instant, aggressive reaction to protect your ego and provide the immediate satisfaction of being right. The first flawed response is obliteration, the napalm approach. You attack to get exactly what you want in the moment, but the victory is destructive. It leaves both parties hurt and creates a lasting environment of chaos. The second response is avoidance. You let things slide to avoid the fight, but letting things be rarely works for the high performer. Instead, it builds a restless, toxic internal resentment that eventually boils over. Both obliteration and avoidance are losing strategies. To find a sustainable middle ground, you have to learn how to step outside this fight or flight trap. The alternative is a process of active processing. It involves treating your initial emotional reactions with dignity and time, rather than allowing them to dictate your next move. When triggered, your brain creates a justification. It swarms an event with pulsing nodes of anger and assumption to validate a hostile reaction. Processing allows that noise to dissolve into an explanation, leaving only observable facts stripped of emotional weight. By focusing on these blue nodes and asking practical questions, the rational, executive brain reclaims authority from the chimp. You stop reacting and start responding. This isn't about losing your competitive edge. It's about taking the discretionary effort you usually spend on work and redirecting it toward your own emotional maturity. Mastering this reframing allows you to survive your own internal war. You shift the goal from instant gratification to a long-term sovereignty over your own life. For the high performer, winning was always about the battlefield, annihilating the enemy and moving to the next objective. But once the war is over, the greatest challenge is learning how to live in peacetime. Success is now redefined as the quiet, daily maintenance of your environment. It's watering the garden every night, pulling the weeds, and taking pride in the slow, visible growth of a single seedling. Under this definition, missing a grueling 5 a.m. gym session isn't a failure. If your emotional capacity is low, skipping the workout is a strategic withdrawal of energy, protecting yourself from burnout rather than losing your mojo. Every time you choose a regulated response over a destructive reaction, you build recovery capital. You are banking a library of evidence, tangible proof that you can make good decisions when the next crisis arrives. To stop the cycle of systemic burnout, our corporate and HR structures must shift. When an authority justifies its existence by punishing those brave enough to ask for help, it forces the high performer back into the war. Breaking that cycle requires us to value professional judgment over rigid regulation and to finally champion this sustainable version of a winner.